This is bad Star Wars fan fiction. Mando goes to a planet and he meets a man who has Boba Fett's armor, and then with the Tusken Raiders they kill a dragon. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Vito. Let's get into it. What are we getting into? We're getting into The Mandalorian. The Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 1, The Marshal. Are you excited? I'm excited. I'm so excited that I will mention this right off the bat. I actually recorded an audio commentary for the episode. If you want to listen to that, head on over to Patreon. Maybe if you don't want spoilers for the episode, watch it first, come back. I don't know. However you want to do it. But there is an episode commentary available where I talk about what I think about this episode. People come to me a lot. They go, Vito, how come you haven't reviewed The Mandalorian? Apparently I'm a Star Wars guy. I am a Star Wars guy. I review Star Wars. That's my lot in life. Take it or leave it, which is fine. But as I've said on many occasions, I am not like a die-hard Star Wars fan. See you, Buscemi. Have fun. I like Star Wars. I love the original movies, and I always will. I don't like the prequels. I don't like the sequels. I don't read the comic books. I don't read the books. I don't know all the magic history of the Mandalorian people and whatever else. I'm a casual fan. I think I'm the same as every other moviegoer who likes that original trilogy. That being said, maybe I know a little bit more than the average bear, since I have been caught up in this Star Wars world sphere, fan sphere, arguing over the movies for the past couple years. What do I think about The Mandalorian? It's fine. And I've said that before. It's okay. It is a show. I wanted to say solid, but solid almost feels like too glowing an endorsement. It's good. It's watchable. And we've all said this, and I think a lot of people are saying this. That's all it needed to be. After the mistakes of the sequel trilogy, which made everybody think, my God, what has happened to Star Wars? Just having something that is watchable feels like a miracle. Like you forgot it was possible to write competent Star Wars fiction, and this has reminded you. Yes, this universe is interesting, and it's possible to have interesting stories in there. That being said, it's not too bold of a show. It doesn't try a lot. I don't even know how to define it, and that's actually a problem I've been having a lot. I don't know what The Mandalorian wants to be. Why don't we talk about the episode in question? Episode 1, The Marshal. Now, this episode, broad strokes, is about Mando is currently searching out Mandalorians, finds out there's a Mandalorian on Tatooine, goes to Tatooine, hijinks ensue. Starts off the episode, and it's a fighting ring on a different planet. There's an alien there who potentially can tell him how to find another Mandalorian. Now, what I don't understand this quest to start with. I guess in the last season, I haven't rewatched it, but I guess at some point, I think it was the blacksmith lady told him, or he just came up with it himself, I gotta get this Yoda back to its family, and the way for me to do that is to find other Mandalorians. I don't understand why that is. We've met other Mandalorians in the show. I don't know a lot about the Mandalorians, to be fair. I don't read all the extra material. But at no point have we ever said the Mandalorians are great keepers of knowledge and wisdom who know where every alien race goes. I just keep having this image in my head of him finding another Mandalorian and being like, I need to return the baby Yoda to its people. And that guy going, sucks to be you. Why did you think I could help? I don't know where this thing goes. So, this is, I guess, going to be this season's arc. I don't know, they didn't set up the arc. The first season was just, I have this baby and I don't know what to do with it. And that didn't really have an arc either. It was just kind of like traveling from random planet to random planet, being like, can I live with the baby here? No, it's not safe. No, it's not safe. No, I can't live with the baby here. Okay, I'll go here. Which is fine, because it kind of felt like they were figuring out the format of the show. What is the show going to be? Is it a buddy comedy? Is it a, group thing? Is it a lone wolf and cub western, spaghetti western, samurai thing? And it seems like they have now decided that, okay, we're going to keep doing the same thing. Let's go from planet to planet, kind of aimlessly, kind of just stumbling around. Like, yes, there is a plot in the background of, I'm trying to figure out what to do with this baby, which is kind of the same thing we were doing in season 1. Although now I guess it's a little more focused. Now it's, I know what I want to do with this baby. I just don't know how to get it where it's going. That would be fine. And you can do a show like that. I mean, this is, again, it's a Western format, and the Western format works. The gunslinger walks into a new town every episode. That town has its own problems and tribulations and cast of characters and good guys, bad guys. Settles all the problems in that town. Walks away, goes to another town the next episode. Okay, Western format, fine. The thing is about this Western format is every time you go to one of these towns, one of these planets, the only thing that's going to make that work is the characters that he meets there. I keep thinking about two other space Westerns. I mean, I guess it makes sense to compare it to them. There's Cowboy Bebop and there's Firefly. I think I'm more intimate with Cowboy Bebop, but both of them are kind of the same thing, where you go to these planets, and there's always some new character, somebody who has the hook for the episode. And in the best episodes, most episodes, especially Cowboy Bebop, those hooks are very good. The character meets somebody who has, a tragic past or a quest that they're on, something they're trying to achieve, and somehow the two paths, the path of our cowboy and the path of this secondary character he's just met, they happen to cross at this unique point in time, and they both offer each other something they didn't know they had, or they, their pasts intermingle in an interesting way. It's interesting, but that only works when you have your cowboy and you have your new character. This guy's got to be as equally, if maybe even more, sometimes a little less, but at least equal in interestingness, bad phrasing, to the cowboy. You need someone who is equally intriguing. You want someone who, when you come away from the episode, you go, man, I could watch a whole show about that other guy. Or at least I wouldn't mind seeing them in a future episode. That's where this Marshall episode falls apart for me. Because we meet the Marshall, and the Marshall is a guy. I mean, I wish I could describe him more colorfully than that. He's a guy. That's it. There's nothing to this character. We learned that this character who has the Mando armor, and we were like, oh, it's a Mandalorian on Tatooine, maybe it's Boba Fett. I'm glad it's not Boba Fett. I have said on record, please don't immediately do the thing that all the movies do where you think you gotta shove Darth Vader in the background to every scene and have the scenes with old characters. Star Wars, it's a universe. You have developed new characters. It's great. I'm glad we saw Amy Sedaris again. Again, another character who is interesting enough that if you told me we're going to do an entire episode about Amy Sedaris being a droid engineer repairman, I'd be like, I could watch an episode of that, and I think I would enjoy it. The Marshal, there's nothing there. This is his whole backstory, and it's terrible. After the Empire got destroyed, the second Death Star got destroyed, slavers showed up in his Tatooine spaceport and took over. He stumbled out of a bar, stole just randomly, very lucky guy, he admits it himself, which still doesn't make it an interesting trope, finds just a bucket of crystals, which I assume are money or worth money, on the bad guy's ship as he's stumbling out of town. What? Why did they just have a bucket of money crystals sitting on their ship? Fine. Finds a bucket of money crystals. This is so stupid. Wanders through the desert, meets some Jawas, and he buys a Boba Fett's armor, and that's it. You meet a guy who has Boba Fett's armor, I can think of like a dozen different stories about the guy who found Boba Fett's armor that are going to be way more interesting than he bought it. He used money to purchase it. Maybe he was an explorer who went exploring in a Sarlacc and found it, or maybe he rescued a near-dead Boba Fett and then took his armor, or something. But no, he's a guy who found a bucket of money and used it to buy Boba Fett's armor. And that's it. That's his whole character. There's no interesting backstory. There's no trauma. There's no past or future or anything. This guy has nothing going on in his life other than he is the guy who bought Boba Fett's armor. I actually thought when I was watching the episode and he was telling the story of how he got the armor, I went, oh, it's a fake out. He's an unreliable narrator. We're going to find out, and I think this would have been very interesting because this is what I assumed was going on. We're going to find out this guy is a tough-talking coward, that he found the armor randomly outside a Sarlacc pit. He used to be a complete loser nobody, put on the armor, and all of a sudden everybody was like, oh my God, it's Boba Fett. And they all, would immediately surrender before he even fired a shot. Like that scene in the bar, he meets with Mando and he's like, are we going to do this?
Look, pal, I'm sure you call the shots where you come from, but round here, I'm the one who tells folks what to do.
Take it off, or I will.
We gonna do this in front of the kid?
He's like trying to tough talk him out of a duel, and I'm like, oh, he probably can't even fight. He probably doesn't even know how to duel. He's just gotten this far by, being a tough talker, and he's going to tell Mando, listen, man, I just found this armor. I have no idea what I'm doing. Everybody in town thinks I'm their hero because I scared off the slavers, and now they want me to kill this dragon. If you help me, I will just give you the armor. I have no idea what I'm doing. I am a coward and a weakling. That would have been interesting. And this is my curse, is that in my head, I think of much more interesting plot lines than what I'm given. The actual plot line I'm given is, I'm a guy, everybody in town, I'm in charge, I'm the marshal, and I'm gonna kill this dragon. I need help killing a dragon. That's it! That's the whole episode. The whole episode is let's kill a dragon. Now, they almost introduce some interesting... I was very interested when I see Mando sitting down with Tusken Raiders. And then we start getting into this thing where the Tusken Raiders and the townspeople hate each other because they've been raiding each other back and forth. The Raiders raid their mines, and the miners get retribution and kill the Tusken Raiders, and they've, I guess, probably been fighting for generations. So I'm like, okay, I understand the episode now. The episode is going to be about... I don't know if this is the best way to put it, but racism. These two races hate each other, and they're never going to get along, and they're too different, and we're going to learn to see them work together, and there's going to be, little interpersonal conflicts there, but not really. That's like, they do it on the most surface level thing. If you listen to my commentary that I put together as I'm watching it, I'm like, what would have sold this is if any of these villagers, like, really hated the Tusken Raiders and we really understood it. Because when they're like, we need to work together with the Tusken Raiders to kill this dragon. The dragon is screwing everything up and they gotta kill a dragon. It's as stupid as it sounds. It's very bare bones, simple action, kill the dragon, whatever. And as they tell them, they go, listen, the Tusken Raiders, they want to kill the dragon too. We should work together with them. And as I was watching it, I'm like, what would have worked is if one of these guys was like, they killed my son. They killed my wife. I refuse to work with the Tusken Raiders. They're savages. Literally the only thing they say is one guy says they're monsters and the other guy says they raid our mines.
Sand people are willing to help.
They raid our mines! They're monsters!
And that is the extent of the conflict that we understand between the townspeople and the Tusken Raiders. There's nothing personal. I was expecting for there to be like one person in the town who just hates him so much and he becomes a center of the conflict, or, we meet like a Tusken Raider boss, leader type guy, and he goes head to head with the marshal who really just hates these people, but they learn to work together in the end. And then maybe the marshal's about to die and the Tusken Raider saves his life, or vice versa, and nothing like that happens at all. It's literally, they go, we hate Tusken Raiders. And he goes, well, we got to work with them. And they go, well, okay. And then they just work with the Tusken Raiders, and that's about it. There's like a tiny thing where a guy drops a grenade, and one of the townspeople goes, how could you drop a grenade? And the Tusken Raider goes, rah, rah, rah. And then after that, they're just best friends forever, and that's it. This episode was actually written by Jon Favreau. I find it very weird that this feels like a filler episode. Nothing happens. We learn nothing about no one. There are no interpersonal conflicts. No characters grow or change in any meaningful way. It's just, you meet a guy. He's got Boba Fett's armor. This is like Daddy's first adventure story. This is bad Star Wars fan fiction. Mando goes to a planet and he meets a man who has Boba Fett's armor. And then with the Tusken Raiders, they kill a dragon. The end. And you're like, oh, cool. Well, like, is there, like, do they fight amongst each other? Or, like, maybe the Tusken Raiders have a certain way of doing things, and they teach the villagers, like, how they fight, and they all... No. They shoot it with lasers, and they put a bunch of grenades in front of it. And then it blows up, and Mando uses his cool jetpack, and his Boba Fett friend has a jetpack, too. And the baby's there, and we keep cutting to the baby, because the baby has nothing to do. It just makes little joke expressions, like a minion. Basically, it's just a minion now. The show has nothing for the baby to do, and that's a whole other can of worms. The baby exists only now to cut to it in one-shots, just reaction shots of the baby. I feel bad for the writers. They have nothing to do with that baby. And as I'm watching the show, I'm like, you either need to grow that baby up and make it a teenager real quick, or at the end of the season, have him get rid of the baby. Because it's just there. It does nothing. It adds nothing to the situation. Point is, as I was saying about Cowboy Bebop or a Firefly or something, you got to give me characters for these one-off episodes, these one-and-done episodes. I know there's an arc going on in the background, and some of those characters get development, but there's no reason in a 50-minute show that you can't be developing these on-the-ground guys that they meet. This Marshall character, I come away from it, and I go, that was a guy with a nice haircut and Boba Fett's armor. That's it. That's all I know about that guy. I never want to see that guy again. I don't care. I think about the first season, and there were some characters. I mean, maybe I'm just biased because I like comedians, but I'm like, I want to see more of Bill Burr. I think that was fun, having a guy as a cocky criminal type. Again, seeing Amy Sedaris again was cool. The guy who played the Ugnaught, whose name, I forget who plays him, but the Ugnaught was great. Because, again, the Ugnaught was able to give us a feeling of a character, even in a short amount of time. You're like, this is a guy who's gone through some stuff. He has a backstory. He has a whole life philosophy that conflicts with the Mando's life philosophy. They're teaching each other lessons. That was very interesting. Guy who just is there and this is the most one-note character. I really don't understand sitting down and writing an episode and being like, it's just about meeting a guy and helping him fight a dragon. And that's it. Very weird waste of a first episode. I feel like if you're going to do all this stuff, apparently the Jedi are going to get involved. There's all sorts of stuff apparently going on. Frickin' guy from Breaking Bad has a dark lightsaber. Can we talk about that? What's the Empire up to? There's so much other stuff that I want to talk about that wasting a whole episode of like, here's what's going on Tatooine. They're fighting a dragon. It has no bearing on anything, and the characters aren't interesting, and nobody learns or changes in any way. It was a weird way to start off the season. I really hope the rest of the season's not like this. I hope that they figure out how to, again, just give me some dynamic characters, put them at odds with the Mandalorian, have their paths cross at a point in time, give them a backstory, something. Just give me a character who is more interesting than the guy who found money and bought Boba Fett's armor. I don't get it. It wasn't good. Fingers crossed for the rest of the season. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching my review. Don't forget, again, if you want to head over to Patreon, you can listen to my in-depth episode, commentary. I talk over the whole episode, and I give my thoughts. There's a lot of cool stuff I think they could have done with this episode. Like, the more I watch it, I'm like, man, there's like so many opportunities to do cool stuff here, and instead it's just, oh, we're gonna blow up a dragon. Blow up a dragon. So stupid when you say it out loud. We got more cool videos coming soon. If you'd like to see more reviews of this here TV show, or maybe other shows you'd like me to review, I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Tell me what you want to see. And thanks for coming by. More Mandalorian. I hope it gets better. I'm optimistic. They got a good team. I think they just really need to hammer down what the show's about, find a formula that works, and not let Kathleen Kennedy touch it. She's hopefully nowhere near this thing. We'll see.